My greedy brother married my wife, hoping to claim her $400 million. She died unexpectedly, and he declared himself the heir. But when the lawyer read her will, he was left speechless. I sat across from my brother in the conference room, watching him drum his fingers on the table. He wore a $3,000 suit he'd bought 2 weeks after my ex-wife's funeral. His new $18,000 Rolex caught the light every time he moved. 3 months married, already living like he'd won the lottery. The lawyer, 62, adjusted his glasses. We're here for the reading of the will, dated August 3rd. My brother smiled, that predatory grin I'd known since childhood. The estate totals $398 million, the lawyer continued. However, there's a complication. My brother leaned forward. What complication? She converted everything to cryptocurrency on July 19th. Bitcoin, Ethereum, multiple cold storage wallets. I stayed quiet. My ex-wife had mentioned crypto investments. I thought it was just diversification. The passwords were never provided to this office, the lawyer said. She left instructions stating the access codes exist in a place only someone who truly knew her would look. My brother went pale. She would have told me. Apparently not. I'm her legal husband. There has to be a way. Without passwords, the assets remain inaccessible indefinitely. The lawyer folded his hands. She was very deliberate in her estate planning. My brother turned to me. You knew about this. I had no idea. I said honestly. Bullshit. You were married 9 years. You helped her set this up. We divorced 18 months ago. You were at the courthouse. He'd shown up to support me. He'd said, brought coffee. Told me he'd always be there for his big brother. 4 months later, I found out he'd been sleeping with my wife for half our marriage. The lawyer cleared his throat. There's nothing more to discuss until passwords are located. My brother stormed out, slamming the door hard enough to rattle the frames on the wall. The lawyer waited 30 seconds, then looked at me. Your ex-wife left specific instructions. If her current husband couldn't solve this in 90 days, you should receive this. He handed me a small envelope. Her handwriting on the front. If he proves who he really is. I didn't open it yet. My brother spent the next 6 weeks losing his mind. I heard through mutual friends. He hired 3 different cybersecurity firms. $85,000 total. Offered $200,000 rewards on dark web forums. Threatened lawsuits. Contacted cryptocurrency recovery specialists who charged $50,000 and delivered nothing. He burned through his savings. Maxed out 4 credit cards. The Rolex disappeared. Pawned, probably. He spent 18-hour days hunched over his laptop, trying every password combination he could think of. I waited exactly 90 days. Then drove to her childhood home where her parents still lived. Her mother, 68, answered. I wondered when you'd come. You knew? She told me 3 months before she passed. Said you'd figure it out when you were ready. She led me upstairs to the bedroom. Everything preserved exactly as she'd left it. Tracked trophies on shelves, debate team ribbons, photos from high school, and on the nightstand. Her worn copy of Jane Eyre, the book we'd read together on our honeymoon in Vermont, taking turns reading passages aloud by the fireplace. I opened it carefully. The spine cracked in familiar places. Page 184. Her favorite passage, where Jane refuses to become Rochester's mistress. In the margin, written in pencil in her precise handwriting. North Star 1847. You always knew what mattered. North Star. Her childhood dog's name. 1847. The year Jane Eyre was published. The kind of password only someone who'd actually listened to her stories would know. I drove home and accessed the first wallet that night. $127 million in Bitcoin. The transaction history showed she'd been planning this since May, 2 months before she passed from the brain aneurysm that took her in her sleep at 36. Second wallet, $156 million in Ethereum. Third, $89 million across various altcoins. But here's what my brother never discovered. She had already executed transfers before she died. Every wallet had been emptied except for 2 transactions. $372 million sent to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital over 3 weeks in July, and $50,000 transferred to an account in my name with a timestamp message for remembering what mattered, for loving me when I had nothing, for being the only person who never asked what I was worth. I sat there staring at that message for an hour. My brother called the next morning. You found them. I did. And she gave it all away. Cancer research. Sick kids. People who actually need it. The line went quiet for 30 seconds. You're lying. Check the blockchain. It's all public record if you know where to look. She wouldn't. She absolutely would. You just never knew her well enough to realize it. He hung up. I used the $50,000 to start a scholarship fund in her name at our alma mater. Full ride for women studying computer science. The first recipient was a girl who taught herself to code using library computers because her family couldn't afford a laptop. My brother moved to Arizona 6 months later. Last I heard, he's selling timeshares and dodging calls from debt collectors. He got exactly what he deserved. Nothing. And the knowledge that he never really knew her at all.